Hello everyone, this is Aishwarya C. Hirimat, Assistant Professor from Department of Pharmacy Practice, Kaili College of Pharmacy, Belgaum. So today we are going to study about communicable disease. Communicable disease, it is nothing but a disease which is illness. It is infectious in nature which can spread from one person to another person directly or indirectly through an infectious agent. So infected person which does not show the clinical symptoms of the disease and act as a reservoir of the infectious agent is called as carrier. So carrier, he or she will be carrying the infectious agent with or without clinical symptoms. So the difference between communicable disease and non-communicable disease is that communicable disease name itself suggests communicable. So it means that it spreads the communication, that is with the help of any droplet infection or any sneezing by coughing. So it is contagious, it spreads from one person to another. Suppose if a person is using any articles or any inanimate object, if he touches that, so if a healthy person touches that, so that disease will be spread from that infected person to healthy person. This is how the communicable disease spreads. And non-communicable disease, it doesn't spread from one person to another person. Example of communicable disease are like respiratory tract infections or intestinal infection. So an example for non-communicable disease, that is you all know commonly diabetes, hypertension, etc. So there are various types of communicable disease. So today we are going to study about respiratory tract infection. So respiratory, as you know, name itself suggests, it spreads through the respiration, that is with the help of sneezing, droplet, or talking. With when you talk, when your saliva comes out by mistake, that's how it spreads. So first in this communicable disease, that is chickenpox. Chickenpox, it is most common in children, so it is also known as varicella. A lot more of you might have experienced this chickenpox in childhood. So it is an acute viral infection. So acute is nothing but which stays for a shorter period of time, which gets cured very soon, and chronic is nothing but it stays for a very longer period of time. So it is acute viral infection. Viral infection is nothing but it spreads with the help of virus. So mainly it occurs in children below 10 years of age, that is children, those who are going to school in kindergarten and all, they'll be having this chicken pox. One attack of this chicken pox acquires immunity for the rest of the life. So if a child, he has suffered this chicken pox at the childhood, he won't be getting this chicken pox again. So there will be immunity for lifetime. So chicken pox, mostly it is common in children. Adults also get this chicken pox, but it is very rare. Causative agent is nothing but the one which causes the particular disease. So for this chicken pox, causative agent, that is varicella zoster virus. So mode of transmission of this disease, it is transmitted by droplet nuclei and droplet infection, that is a droplet spread how, while sneezing or while talking. So it can transmitted by personal contact with an infected person. So it also crosses placental barrier and it infects the fetus. Incubation period, so incubation period is nothing but the period of development of the disease. So incubation period of this chickenpox is 14 to 21 days. So signs and symptoms, there will be fever, mild fever, and sometimes there will be like severe high fever as well. There will be lot of itching due to the vesicular rash on the trunk, face and limbs. So you all can see in this picture. So there will be rashes and there will be like a small pimple like. There will be lot of itching on the skin. there will be burning sensation on the skin as well, so you can't resist without itching, so there will be a lot of itching. So prevention of this, how do we prevent this? Isolation of the patient for 6 days after onset of rash. So once you get to know the person is suffering from this chicken pox, we should isolate this person for 6 days. So disinfect all articles used by the patients. If a person has used any handkerchief or any articles, for example pen or any inanimate objects, so that should be disinfected. So early diagnosis helps in the early cure of the disease. So any disease, be it any disease, early diagnosis is very important. Another vaccine that can be given is varicella zoster immunoglobulin 1 gram, that is, it contains 1.25 to 5 ml intramuscular, is given within 72 hours of exposure. So it will acquire passive immunity against chickenpox. So there is no specific immunity of this chickenpox, but it will be cured. Next communicable disease is measles. So measles, it is one of the commonest infectious disease of children up to 6 years of age. So even this measles, one attack gives high degree of immunity for the whole life. A mother who had an attack of measles imparts immunity to her infants for first 6 months of the age. Suppose if a mother has already got this measles, she will transfer her immunity while in fetus for about 6 months. Causative agent of this measles, that is nothing but RNA paramyxovirus. So mode of transmission, direct person to person through droplet infection, that is with the help of sneezing, talking, kissing, etc. So infective material is secretion of nose, throat and respiratory tract. Incubation period, it stays for 10 to 14 days. Signs and symptoms, there will be high grade of fever in these patients. There will be sneezing can be seen, and watery eyes will be there. Whenever you see a patient with the measles, his eyes will be turned red and it will be watery, just like how it is in other disease like conjunctivitis. There will be lot of cough in this patient, and there will be Koplik's spot. You all can see in this picture Koplik's spot followed by maculopapular rash in neck and then whole body. So you all can see in this picture, it's nothing but Koplik's spot. It is called as Koplik's spot. This can be seen. Prevention and control. Prevention, so measles vaccination, that is 0.5 ml at the age of 9 to 12 months. So this vaccine is mostly given for the children, all to prevent this measles. So if it is contraindicated, then immunoglobulin can be given. So sometimes there will be like contraindications or adverse events. So we should monitor patients or children after the vaccines are given or immunization is done. So in this measles vaccine, if it is contraindicated, immunoglobulin it can be given, and patient is isolated for 7 days after the rash is appeared, so that to prevent it from spreading it to others. Protect the eyes of the patients from the light, because there will be like when a patient sees the light, there will be irritation, because you all know there will be watery eyes, so there will be irritation and there will be photosensitivity, so it should be protected from the light. Disinfect the discharges, for example nasal discharges and throat of the patient. Immunize the susceptible children. Susceptible children are nothing but those who are likely to get, those whom you suspect they are going to get this measles, they should be immunized. Next, most common disease, respiratory tract disease, that is influenza. This influenza, it is highly communicable disease, so it is known as upper respiratory tract. It is also known as flu. There are two types of infections, upper respiratory tract and lower respiratory tract. Upper respiratory tract, this influenza is one of the infection. It affects people of all ages and of all both genders. So causative agent, it is caused by influenza A, B and C. Mode of transmission, so the influenza virus is present in nasal secretions and sputum of the patient. So it transfers when there is any contact, that is direct contact, with the help of droplet nuclei or droplet infection. When a patient coughs or sneezes or while talking, it spreads from one person to another person. Nowadays coronavirus is trending, so it is this coronavirus flu is one of this influenza virus. So symptoms are a bit similar of that of coronavirus. Incubation period, it stays for 1 to 2 days. Signs and symptoms, fever, it lasts for 1 to 5 days. There will be chills, headache, pain in the limbs, sore throat and cough. There will be fatigue. There will be like a person won't be having any strength. He'll be lethargic. Lots of loss of energy will be there. He can't work properly. There will be muscle pains. There will be sore throat, back aches and prolonged fever. And in some condition there will be like diarrhea, vomiting, headache. Sore throat will be seen. Sore throat, there will be like difficulty in swallowing and there will be stuffy nose. As you all know, it is a upper respiratory tract infection. There will be stuffy nose. So at night it will be like difficult to breathe, because when you sleep there will be like stuffy nose. Your nose will be stuffed with mucus and all, so it will be difficult in breathing while sleeping. So prevention, that is isolate the suspected cases. During illness, avoid the meeting of people for at least 1 week. So you should isolate yourself, not meet the people, as it is communicable disease. Avoid going to overcrowded places where there is a risk of infection. So in overcrowded places there will be like not much hygiene maintained. You never know who will be having what disease. So in overcrowded places there is a high risk of getting communicable disease like this influenza. Body should be protected from chills by wearing sufficient warm clothes. You all should wear sweater and other warm clothes. Face mask should be used while attending the patient. Disinfectant the materials used by the patients. So if a patient is suffering from a flu, so that patient, whatever he is used, it should be disinfected with the proper sanitization, that is a hand sanitizer is also used, and phenyl, it should be disinfected with phenyl. Sneezing, spitting and coughing in public places should be avoided. So while sneezing you should always cover your hand. Sneezing, coughing and spitting should not be done everywhere, especially people have the habit of eating pan and spitting everywhere. So spitting should be avoided a lot. So you should maintain well personal hygiene so as to prevent yourself and to stop others from getting the disease. Vaccination is given, and prophylactic drug, that is amantadine can be given. Prophylaxis is nothing but if suppose a patient is suspected case of this influenza, or if he has come in contact with this, prophylaxis can be given so as to prevent the further disease. So there is no specific treatment, but amantadine or simantadine 100 mg twice a day can be given. Next common is diphtheria. It is an acute infectious disease which stays for shorter period of time, affects most commonly throat, tonsils, larynx or nose, where it produces greyish white false membrane of soluble exotoxin. So there will be like formation of exotoxin, I'll show in the further slide. So if that membrane spreads to the air passage, it may block the air entry and cause difficulty in breathing. So it is widely distributed disease, so it affects all ages, but most common it is seen in 3 to 5 years of age. They are more affected. Causative agent, Corynebacterium diphtheria. Mode of transmission, it is spread by droplet infection and through carriers and patients. Handling of fomites. Fomites are nothing but inanimate objects, for example pen or anything like suppose pen or any articles used by the patient which is contaminated with the nasal or throat secretions. They also transmit the disease. It can be spread through sneezing, coughing, spitting, speaking. Incubation period, so 2 to 5 days it stays minimum, or it might stay for longer. As you all can see, this is the white matter. So if formation of this exotoxin. Signs and symptoms, there will be lot of fever in this patient's. High grade fever, the patient will not be able to tolerate. Toxemia, so it is nothing but there will be like poisonous taste in the throat, and sometimes this toxemia can cause severe septicemia. There will be difficulty in swallowing. As you all can see, there is a formation of this grey matter, patches of greyish yellow membrane over the tonsils and the throat. Diphtheria, this is nothing but diphtheria. Prevention, it is done by immunization with DPT vaccine 0.5 ml at the age of 2, 4 and 6 months. A booster dose at 5 years of age is given. So other preventive measure is isolation of the patient at home or hospital in ventilated room. Article used by patient should be disinfected. Good personal hygiene should be maintained so that it doesn't spread from one person to another. Effort should be made for early detection of this diphtheria carriers. Early detection helps in early diagnosis and treatment. Schick test is also performed to find if the person is susceptible or immune to diphtheria. So it is used by two diagnostic agents, that is Schick test toxin, Schick control. So a Schick test dose of 0.2 ml Schick test toxin is injected intracutaneously into left forearm, and equal volume of Schick control is injected into the right forearm of the individual. So the site of injection at both is observed. So on 4th day, if left forearm into which toxins has been injected shows any redness or inflammation, it indicates that the toxin isn't neutralized and the individual is susceptible. So if there is no redness or no inflammation, then the person is immune with this. If the redness or inflammation appears, it may be due to substances other than the toxin which is confirmed from right forearm. So this is about Schick test. So if reaction is observed on the right forearm, it is confirmed that the person is susceptible to diphtheria, but if there is no reaction, then the person is immune to diphtheria. Treatment: diphtheria antitoxin must be given immediately. Antibiotics like penicillin or erythromycin, it might be given for these patients. And fluid diet should be given to the patient, because there will be a lot of difficulty in swallowing due to the exotoxin. There will be difficulty, there will be pain during swallowing of this. So properly the patient should be given with fluid diet, so as to avoid any inconvenience. Household or other contacts may be given prophylactic dose of diphtheria antitoxin, so as to prevent the disease. Various types of vaccines are used for this prophylaxis, that include alum precipitated toxoid, antitoxin floccules, and purified toxoid aluminum phosphate precipitated PTAP. So these are the various vaccines which are used for this diphtheria. Next is whooping cough. So it is also known as pertussis. So whooping is nothing but a sound. So it is a highly infectious disease of lower respiratory tract infection, so which affects trachea, bronchi and bronchioles. It occurs in all ages, but most common in children under 5 years of age. So it is dangerous if it affects infants under 6 months of age, because as 6 months of age infants, they are very sensitive. So females are more affected than males. Causative agents: Bordetella pertussis. Mode of transmission: it spreads directly by droplet infection or indirectly through the fomites contaminated with nasal or buccal secretions. So the germs are spread into air during talking, sneezing or coughing by the patients. Incubation 7 to 14 days. Signs and symptoms: there will be like slight fever, running nose, whooping sound, there will be like sound, very loud sound will come while coughing, and catarrhal symptoms: catarrhal, paroxysmal and convulsant. Catarrhal is nothing but there will be a lot of nasal secretions and on and off symptoms of cough. There will be a convulsant stage, that is it might be a recuperating stage. Prevention: every child must be immunized against whooping cough. Nowadays new vaccines, triple DPT diphtheria is given simultaneously, which gives the protection against diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus all in one. So this vaccine is given, and 3 doses of this vaccine is given intramuscularly at the age of 1.5 and 3.5 months. Thank you for patient listening.